You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Hello everyone, this is Chris from the Couch Potatoes, bringing you a special Halloween episode. I'm sitting here with my friend Cristy Phillips.
Hello everyone.
We have decided to do another podcast channel about history, and I wanted to bring her in because we are big horror fans.
Yes.
Extreme horror fans. To the point where it's a little fucked up.
Just a little.
Just a little. And we're going to be talking about some of our favorite horror franchises, maybe television shows, and just see where it goes from here. But to kick it off, the new Hellraiser is coming out on Hulu on October 7th. I'm kind of excited about that because it's the female Pinhead, which is more or less the main Cenobite that's in The Hellbound Heart, a classic young adult novel by Clark Barker.
Which should not be a young adult novel, but you know.
Hey, you put it in the library, kids are going to read it.
Yeah, but
you one of them book burning motherfuckers, though?
no. No, I'm one of those people that when I hear a book is banned or being burned, I go buy it on purpose.
Yeah.
There's a whole stack of them in my classroom for this very reason.
But no, like Hellraiser was always the wildest fucking, of all the series, is the wildest of all the franchises. Because a lot of them are just hack and slash, your Halloweens, your Fridays, your New Nightmares and stuff like that. Your Texas Chainsaws and stuff like that. It's always, a realistic guy you could probably kill. But Hellraiser, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into it, do you remember when you first saw Hellraiser?
Oh, God.
I was 10.
I was going to say, I was probably single digit. Mom might have waited until I was probably 10 or 11. But the first horror movie I remember watching was Pet Sematary at 3 or 4.
Oof.
the 80s Pet Sematary at 3 or 4. Whole thing. Held nothing back. Mom didn't do that parent thing where they cover your eyes and leave the movie running. She would do that with Roadhouse and Dirty Dancing for the sex parts, but no, we're not covering eyes in the horror movies. No,
we're gonna show Gage cutting that old man's leg, and we're gonna show that bedridden old woman, which you fucking hate, by the way.
Oh,
There's a little story to Cristy that she told me that by a fucking mistake, because she shouldn't have told me that.
I will say it. I will put this out into the ether for the whole entire world. I am 36 years old, and Zelda, I still cannot look at her. I still can't do it. Nope. And I have to watch that movie in the daylight at 36 years old. I can't watch it at night by myself.
I will say, there's only out of all the horror movies I've seen, there's one scene that just makes me get a shiver down my spine. But it's nothing like I can't see it. It's the scene where old boy gets to the end of the hall and the original Tobe Hooper Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that door slides open and you hear the crunch of his skull on that hammer, and it's like thunk, and I was just like, God damn! They put that mic right there.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, that's the only one. It doesn't bother me. It's just sends a shiver down my spine. Just someone cracking someone over the head with a meat hammer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's you go to the Hellraiser though, man. I remember watching Hellraiser on Sci-Fi for the first time. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they didn't really censor a lot of it because they didn't have to.
Yeah.
But the only parts they censored was the girl fucking.
Yeah.
the stepmom who was fucking around, and Frank. Oh, Frank, Uncle Frank, monster.
Yes.
And I remember that what turned me on to it was we had went to the mall in Hickory, and Hot Topic. No, Spencer's. It was Spencer's Gifts. Had the toys, the Hellraiser toys. And I remember what the fuck? This guy has this one guy looks like Lord Zed from the Power Rangers with no skin, and it's just there's a guy with the pins in his head. I'm just like, okay, let's just see what it's about. And it was on Sci-Fi around the Halloween time. And I gotta watch it, and I'm just like, "Fuck! I'm gonna rent this. I'm gonna see what it really is,
Yeah.
And I remember renting it from Kathy's Video and traveling. Is basically living in that motherfucker. And taking it home and watching it, I'm just like, God damn. Like, Cristy Cotton.
That poor girl.
And like the practical effects on those movies were fucking fantastic in the early years. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like even the dad like cutting his hand open with the rusty nail, the rat that's nailed to the fucking floor, the bodies dissolving, and Frank consuming, like especially with the hand in the back of that dude's skull. Like it's just like God damn. And I can't think. It's always now it's a comedy to me. Because of a YouTuber who did the review of it.
That was the greatest thing in the whole world.
So there was a YouTuber. He's a defunct channel now. It's not around anymore. But he had done reviews and stuff, and he did Children of the Corn, and a couple other really good RoboCop 2. But the Hellraiser one was always fucking hilarious. I believe he said, "Here comes the Pleasure Squad."
Yeah.
Which I've always called them that now.
Yeah,
that's their name. It's the fucking Pleasure Squad. But no, the Hellraiser series was fantastic. It was just a puzzle box that brings these 4 dudes, and they're really. The book kind of doesn't say heaven or hell, but the movies do, which I think is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And you're a big Clive Barker fan.
I am.
Yeah, the Books of Blood and everything. And as the series progressed, as the franchise progressed, they got worse and worse.
Oh, God, yes.
The second one, though, is actually a solid sequel.
It is.
With the doctor and, like, the Nazi motherfucker chaining motherfuckers to beds and shit.
Yeah, it's very rare you'll hear me say that a sequel is on par with the first one, but that one is. It's the same, but it's different enough that it's worthy to be a sequel. But it's also they stayed true enough, and that they do go a little bizarre in a couple areas, even for the Hellraiser series. But they stayed with it enough to where you had your favorite characters that you're always rooting for, and then you have these new people, and you're like, okay, so how are we going to light this dumpster fire with these new people? And that was one of the things. Mom loves the second one more than she loves the first one.
Oh, the cool thing is Hellbound. It literally has the name of the book. And the song Hellraiser's in it by Ozzy.
Yes, of course.
Why they couldn't put it in the original, I do not know. The production actually behind those movies was really hard because they had to leave a lot of stuff out. They're changing of the original protagonist to a male. Doug Bradley, who's always been big in the horror scene, but always is Pinhead. I think hasn't played Pinhead in only one movie. From what I understand, that other movie was fucking garbage.
It was. I have seen them.
Granted, after 3, I think I could just take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Because 3, fun fact, is actually filmed here in North Carolina. It's filmed in Conover.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So which is pretty cool. They're supposed to be in New York City, but it's actually in Conover. Yeah. So that's a fun fact. I remember some of the designs though were fucking fantastic. Like the originals where you had Pinhead, Chatterbox, Trach Girl, which doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
Like it's just Trach Girl.
Yeah.
And the blob motherfucker.
Yeah, with the eyes stitched shut.
Yeah, that was it. And I keep laughing every time I watch it because it's just Cristy Cotton, and like a whole analogy of Hellraiser is her just dialing the wrong phone number.
Yes.
She's like, she keeps fucking with this box, and it's just like they show up and Pinhead's like, yo, welcome to the Pleasure Dome. And it's like, go ahead, hop on, let's go. And she's like, no, I didn't call you, blah, blah, blah. And like, she's like, Frank, no, he's like, no. Frank called us like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. We ripped that motherfucker to pieces. He's over there
in the corner regretting everything.
And like the gall of fucking Cristy Cotton, and like, no, you were wrong. You didn't kill him. And like just Pinhead's look. And Trach Girl, I just love, is just like, what did you say, bitch? Like, it's so many words. He's like,
excuse you very much.
And then she calls him a second time. She remember she like chucks it out the fucking window, does a dive out the motherfucker at the house, and is found later on, and it's just like, bitch, what did we say?
Yes.
And I like how like Trach Girl's like walking up the fucking stairs. It's like, you dumb bitch, because she hates Cristy Cotton.
Yes, she does.
And she's looking at her, and it's just like, bitch, we're tired of this shit. You got away with it, a 1 in a million shot that we didn't rip you to pieces. But this time we're going to get And she just tells him, no, Frank's alive. And it's like, I like Pinhead, just like, who did this? It's just a pile of viscera. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Uncle Frank. He's like, nah, we got Frank. Did we get Frank? I thought we got Frank. Mm-hmm. And it just becomes a fucking high roller game because her and old boy, the boyfriend,
oh god,
are like in hell, out of hell, in a hallway to hell.
Yeah.
And they had that weird fucking creature that had the two arms on the wall that didn't kind of match the aesthetic or the vibe of Hellraiser.
Not even remotely.
Not even remotely. And then it just goes into the second movie, like, it just picks right up. Mm-hmm. And it's the doctor, like, having this, I think, what was the deal with the girl? She was mute.
He had her to...
She solves puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, she was, that was what she was good at, was solving puzzles. So, and... apparently he couldn't be bothered with trying to solve the puzzle box himself, so he had to get a professional to open it for him. Mm-hmm. And I guess that was one of the things I actually liked about the second movie is when she opens the box, Pinhead's like, she had no idea what she was doing. She's an innocent in this, and she didn't call us for the reasons that
Cristy Cotton's standing right there, and it's just like, bitch.
Yeah.
We're tired of your like, I'm just like, if I was a guy, like, if the writing this in a practical way, it's like, stop calling us.
Yeah, like the song, why are you so obsessed with me?
Yeah, just like, and like Trent Girl's just walking up behind her, and it's like, oh, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, I finally get to kill her.
I do like when they first meet Kirsty Cotton in the first movie. Fucking Chatterbox puts his fingers in her mouth.
Yeah,
and she's like, oh shit. God damn, you guys are into some weird shit.
Yeah.
But now the second one, the doctor becomes like an ultimate Cenobite, kind of, which is fucking wild.
Oh, yeah.
And Julia shows back up. Frank shows back up. They have their skin ripped off by that time. They're just kind of husks of themselves and shit, which is, it's pretty elaborate, storytelling. Mm-hmm. And I think it was really good. I think Clive Barker kind of dipped out after that because some of the ideas, some of the different Cenobites that shown up at that time. Mm-hmm. You had the twins who are conjoined at the head. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it just started looking like BDSM type stuff. And it's just like, these guys are just into this weird sex shit.
Yeah.
Like, remember the guy who had CDs in his head?
Yes. God.
Oh man, he was a future Cenobite. He was the shit.
Oh Lord.
He keeps throwing you fucking Back in Black and Ace of Spades.
Yeah, and NSYNC's Bye 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 album.
Oh man. Hey, cut your grammar.
Yes. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. Now, what's your... now, you're a big fan of Nightmare on Elm Street.
I am. Yeah. I've been a Freddy fan for as long as I can remember. A lot of his problem with me was... I grew up in a very sarcastic household, as you know. Mm-hmm. And
one of the funniest stories your mom told me was she just hid under your bed.
It's not... I mean...
To me, that's hilarious.
Child services would have had a field day with, like, a random Wednesday at my house. Just for the fact that my mom being a very tiny person, she's always been a very tiny person. And... I would get up in the middle of the night, and the way the house was set up, my bedroom was right next to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So I would get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom, come back, get back in the bed, and I had a life-size teddy bear for years. I put a stop to that.
Is it one of those ones people could crawl in?
No, it was just big.
Yeah.
It was just full size, and it sat in the back corner. And his job was to protect me from my nightmares. That was his job. I'd get in the bed, and get comfortable and start to go to sleep and just start to nod off. And Mom, I didn't know it at the time, I found out later, would reach around this bear and grab me and scare the crap out of me. And then when Charlie was with us, we had bunk beds, and Mom would get underneath the bunk beds, and since she was so small and it was a twin bed, she could reach up and reach around and grab us. And me and Charlie got to where we would pile, like, every toy, every book bag, every book, everything we could come up with on the bottom bunk, and we'd both sleep on the top. That way we got to stay away from Mom.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, your mom is something special.
Oh, yes, she is. She's a wonderful person, and she's a good mother, but...
She's roughly about 5'1", 90 pounds.
Thereabouts.
And decided to put her fucking hands on me. It's like one time I thought that was fucking hilarious.
She frisked you like a TSA agent. It was amazing.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Even your dad's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, Dad's like, I can't fight him. Yeah. I don't want to fight him right now.
But no, we love talking about horror movies with her, and I like Nightmare on Elm Street. It was cool because all the movies, you know, when you stack them up, are just like more entertaining with the kills. Mm-hmm. The story is kind of shit.
Oh yeah.
But like after like the first, the second, and third one, the third one is my favorite because it's Dream Warriors.
Oh yeah.
And I have the album.
It's also the cheesiest thing that's ever been invented.
Oh man, no, it's fucking funny. Welcome to prime time, bitch. It's fucking the best fucking line in horror.
Yes. Yes.
At least from Freddy's end. Mm-hmm. The second one's gay as shit. But
yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, but the first one, Heather Langenkamp, Johnny Depp getting sucked into a fucking
bed
and getting hurt.
Yeah.
The production on that, and John Saxon of all people was in it, like the greatest like B-list action horror guy who fought Bruce Lee.
I mean, he was made for that role. He really was.
And he shows up quite a bit later on, like in the other ones. I remember he fights the skeleton. Remember?
Yes.
He fought a skeleton, a puppet skeleton.
Yes, I remember that one too.
Yeah. That was the one with Arquette, Patricia Arquette, I think, Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
And then you had the new Nightmare was actually pretty fascinating when it came out because it had Robert Englund as Robert Englund.
Yeah. But
you saw some of the production designs of what they originally wanted, a more scarred up Freddy, which they couldn't really do back then. The full razored hand, because like that one, they showed what the razors were going to look like, and it looks more like the original poster. Because like the original movie poster has a lot of weird shit on it that's not in the movie. But the I'm trying to remember her name. Heather Langenkamp plays
Nancy.
In the original poster, it's a 5-bladed hand that goes across her face. But if you look at it, the blades are different.
Yeah.
They don't look like steak knives or anything. These look like fucking claws. And then you had like this weird demon looking thing in the corner. There's so much going on. It's a fucking badass drawn poster. You know?
It is.
I will say that's a draw of a lot of horror movies is the posters because they're fantastic. My favorite though going was fucking Friday the 13th. That is my jam. Every fucking one of them are a gem. Even 9. Go to hell.
Oh, I know. I have to tell you every Friday the 13th.
Yeah, got to. It's just like some of the stuff, like it's so fucking funny. It's not supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be scary.
Yeah.
But watching that growing up, when you're a young kid and it just gets more elaborate, like the third one, because the story of Friday the 13th, the mom is the bad guy in the first one. Freddy comes back in the second, and he kills the Scream Queen from the first one. Chops her fucking head off.
Yeah.
And grabs his mom's skull. And the third one, he gets the mask. The third one's one of my personal favorites just because of one of the funniest fucking kills. Is because it's in 3D. And if you remember anything about, if anybody who's listening to this remembers anything about that movie, is the way he approaches the house, because there's people living on the property and there's camp counselors. Somehow, the guy who had the mask is standing on a pier and takes a harpoon to the face. And I'm just like, that's one hell of a shot. Like, this guy, like, Jason had to be in the fucking Marines or some shit. Like,
yeah.
And I'm just like, how the fuck do you do that with a fucking shot like that? And then, like, the Corey Feldman one, where he's like a little kid. And the preppy chick with the pearls around her neck, Muffy or some shit, like some stupid name.
Yeah.
She's like, what the fuck are you afraid of? And Jason just kicks that fucking door open, like, you're in my house. Like, and I'm just like, it's such a fucking hilarious scene because that door just disappears, like it just explodes.
Yeah.
And he just grabs this bitch and kills the shit out of her, throws her through a window, I think. And then Crispin Glover.
Oh, cinematic gold.
Just got laid. The poor fucking son of a bitch just got laid. Did the fucking dance and everything. It was torn in twain. Man, I'm just like, fucking Christ on the cross. Like, this is... He's doing the Lord's work, I will say that. He's doing good things. He's doing the Lord's work. At least he's fucking dope-smoking, you know, premarital sex kids. They need to be reined in. They need to be reined in.
That's what horror movies are for.
Yeah. And, like, what's really cool is doing, like, we had people who listen to the show. We did the whole horror movie trivia game between me and David Hammer, and it was just like a knockdown drag out when it came to some of these movies, because even us doing it is just like, nah, I don't think that's right. Like just questioning Alex Trebek, just that kind of thing. But yeah, Friday the 13th was always a bit like, even the remake, or what we call Supernatural special episode.
It was.
It was fun. It's a fun movie. And I don't think it gets a lot of love just because it's basically 1, 2, and 3 put together.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But even going back to Nightmare on Elm Street, what do you think of that remake they did? That was rough.
It was. It was very rough. I liked the remake. The only problem that I have, I mean, they stuck to it really well, and one of the things that I was concerned about when I heard they were going to do it is, were they going to approach Freddy as Wes Craven originally wrote him, as what he...
A child molester.
Yeah. And I'm like, they left that out of the original because I believe, I could be wrong if I am, I apologize, I believe at that time that had just, in the 80s when that had happened, that was when the big scandal broke, and it was the mass hysteria of... You're going to know what I'm talking about. I can't think of what it's called, but it was the daycare people.
The Satanic Panic daycare people?
Yeah, that thing had just happened. And so they had decided, well, that's too far. So instead of making him a child molester, we'll just make him a murderer. And
Which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. And what I thought was interesting about the original and the remake, when you have somebody like Robert Englund, of the caliber of Robert Englund, he still had that air about him that was always in the back of his mind from the way he reacted sometimes.
So, like, yeah, he comes off as a sexual predator.
Yeah, he does.
But he does it with the teenagers, and I think that's what kind of throws it off a little bit.
Yeah.
But the guy who came in for the Revan,
yes,
they do a cool little thing about it, which is, no, the parents killed an innocent man.
Yeah.
And it throws you off, and it's just like, oh, fuck, like, is this why he's so mean and vicious? Because the Freddy in the new one is not funny.
No, he's not funny. There's no sarcasm.
They followed the trend of what remade horror movies are all about, which is just viciousness.
Yeah.
Your Hills Have Eyes, your Texas Chainsaw Massacres.
Last House on the Left.
Yeah, your Jessica Biel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The beginning with Jordana Brewster, where you don't see that fucking ending coming.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
I'm just like, God damn, he put a Mortal Kombat fatality in the last 5 minutes, and it's just like, Jordan. And like, going into that, because I, like, up until the last 15 minutes, you're like, the girl's kind of right. She's like, did you kill an innocent man? Did you mob this dude and kill him and burn him alive? And then they find that box.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no. And it's just the horror of these photos he had took. And it's just like, oh, no, you were justified being murdered, you piece of shit.
Yeah, they need to do it again. And again, and again, and again.
I did like the kind of revamp of the whole thing, because the special effects weren't what they were.
Yeah.
But the CGI sleep scene in the school.
Oh, yeah.
And she just falls asleep, and it's just like, oh shit, it's Stranger Things. Okay, cool.
Yes.
It's fucking awesome.
I mean, who hasn't done that? Who hasn't fell asleep in the middle of, let me see, because my nerd knowledge is going to come out. Who has not fallen asleep during Act 3 of what I believe is Macbeth? Because that's what the teacher's reading in the first one, I think. Which the English teacher and the English nerd in me always did find it very interesting, because I'm like, what are they reading? I've got to hear what they're reading. Because it just sounds so creepy. And it is. Because, if it's Macbeth, of course it's creepy. But everybody's done that. We've all nodded off in class.
I've never done that.
What?
No.
Wow. I have nodded off in class.
I've never fell asleep in class. It's more of a paranoia thing.
Yeah, but, people will draw on you.
I used to flick people in the ear.
I was never quite to that point, but I would draw on my friends if they went to sleep, but they did that to me too. So
yeah, no, I never fell asleep in class. I can say that. No, that's just more paranoia on my end. I don't like to be touched when I'm sleeping.
Yeah,
but no, Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. These were kind of the big ones. Now, Hellraiser didn't come out till like the mid 80s.
Yeah.
But Friday the 13th, late 70s, early 80s. because you had your Camp Bloods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And slashers were really taking off in the late 70s with stuff like The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is like, oh yeah, serial killers exist, guys. Just heads up.
Yeah.
Casey's been bebopping around. Dahmer, is kind of just doing his thing, getting out of the army, trying to be a man. Ted Bundy's, driving that Volkswagen state to state.
Oh, bless.
Doing stuff for the Republican Party.
Oh.
Reading from the good book. But I remember the one that's kind of out in the ether is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Because they do that bullshit. It's like based on a true story.
Yeah.
Told by the survivor. And it's just like, what the fuck?
I remember the first time I watched that when I was little. It scared the crap out of me, but mostly because my mother, God bless her, took every opportunity that she could to scare the daylights out of me as a child. I remember the first time I watched it because you listen to that speech at the beginning where they're talking about it, if they would have known what horror befell them and all this kind of thing. And it says based on true story, based on actual events. And I'm looking at my mom and I'm like, oh my God, did this actually happen? And my mother, hand to God, she goes, oh yeah, Sally Hardesty is in Broughton is actually one of the close hospitals here. She actually said that Sally Hardesty was in Broughton and that you could go visit her and she would talk about it and about how it had been so horrible and she barely made it out alive and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, and of course as a little kid I'm sitting here hook, line, and sinker believing every single solitary thing that she's saying. Then I get older and I'm like, wait a minute, it's only based on actual events because they ripped off Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer. It was like Albert Fish. Jeffrey Dahmer hadn't been caught yet.
Yeah.
Shout out to that new series. I watched it. That was the shit. It is not as bad as people say, like, squeamish-wise, but I think I'm not squeamish. But old boy plays Dahmer to a T.
I started it, and I wasn't in a good spot to watch it mostly because I had just finished watching the new Gacy one. So I'm like, ooh, let's take a day.
Oh man, Jeffrey Dahmer, man! If you can't beat him, eat him.
Oh God.
Make you some bakery fresh Skidderman rolls.
Where are my drums when I need them?
I love the Jeffrey Dahmer jokes. They're too good. They're too good.
Oh God.
And but yeah, Ed Gein and Albert Fish, and Albert Fish is a fucking horror story.
Oh, God.
You could tell that it seems like it's not real when people talk about the child killer that is Albert Fish.
Yeah,
and all this stuff. It's like Cropsy or just like the man with the hook. It's like that guy's not real. It's
like the first whole season of Supernatural.
Yeah. And it turns out, he's fucking real and he's from hell.
Yeah.
I love the play on a lot of the 80s horror movies, just slashers. A fun one is April Fool's Day.
Oh God, I miss that
because they're just trying to fuck this girl over the whole time.
Yes.
No, it's a joke. And she kills all of them.
Those are the ones I get crossed up because you have April Fool's Day and then you have Happy Birthday to Me.
Happy Birthday to Me is real. Happy Birthday to Me. All right, so April Fool's Day is a trick. Happy Birthday to Me, yeah, they're dying. April Fool's Day is the one where they come out, oh no, bitch, we were just kidding. We've been doing some murder scenes and stuff like that. Not to ruin a movie from 1984 or anything, but but one that came out that they cannot remake.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
Sleepaway Camp.
Yes. God damn it. They cannot remake that movie because holy shit. If anybody gets a chance,
don't. If you get a chance, don't.
Watch it until the last 10 minutes.
Don't even watch that far. If you make it through the opening credits, that's enough. You have survived something if you make it through the opening credits.
The killer is a young trans teen.
It is
who's suffering from a mental disorder.
When you look back at it, it's one of those things where you're like, oh my God, this is child abuse to a 1000th degree. And then you start going, well, no wonder the kid's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. But it has one of the funnier sequels, and one of the funnier scenes in that sequel is Sleepaway Camp 3. It's a blonde girl, and she's been killing these people. There's a cabin in the middle of the woods, away from the sleepaway camp. It's kind of like a defunct one. And the dead bodies are all sitting around in a circle. She's got one whose head is inside of a busted out television. And she's got one that's like in a fishbowl.
Oh, God.
And she's sitting around talking to these people like, hey guys, how's everybody doing? You guys ready for tonight? And she's just like talking to dead bodies. And I'm just like, that's one of the most visceral fucking horror scenes. And she's just like this cool valley girl, you know, just fucking bebopping with fucking suspenders on. She looks great. She looks like she's having a good time. The cover of the movie's fucking the most 80s fucking thing possible. She's just a smiling blonde girl who looks pretty good with fucking aviators on and axe.
Oh, God.
And it's all hand drawn because that's how you make a fucking cover.
Absolutely. That's how you do it.
But Sleepaway Camp was one of my fun ones. I have all those. And me and you kind of get contentious on some horror movies, I know. What was that one? Not the one we went to the theaters and saw.
Oh, God, I'm never going to live that down.
Puppet Master. I love Puppet Master.
Me too.
Because it has Nazis in it. And they killed Nazis. A Jewish man makes golem puppets who kill Nazis.
Yes.
And then one is dressed like a Nazi.
It's Inglourious Bastards before Inglourious Bastards.
Puppet Master is fantastic.
It is.
Right up there with Piranha.
Oh, God.
But like some of the franchises I think that don't get a lot of love because they do remakes of them at times and they still don't hit is like the It's Alive franchise, which is 3 movies, and it's about killer babies, and then there's like an island of killer babies, and the third one because they're all grown up and they're all just like in these weird fucking like skin suits.
Oh, God.
It's fucking fantastic. What is like an obscure horror movie you could think of that is really just fantastic?
Oh, you know what I'm going to say.
Oh,
Night of the Demons.
Night of the Demons.
Come on.
What a soundtrack.
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
Night of the Demons and Demons.
Oh, yes.
Sergio Argento's Demons.
It's like, how many 20 to 30-year-olds can we get to play high school kids?
And murder them.
And murder them horribly.
Well, the one... as a guy, the best thing about Night of the Demons is Linnea Quigley. And the weird lipstick scene.
As a girl, that's the worst part of the movie because you're like, oh my God, ow, why?
As a guy, you're just like, yeah, you can make that happen. That's a real thing. And I love I actually like the final girl in that. Mm-hmm. And like she's fucking hilarious because it's just like, bitch, we're gonna murder you. Like we're gonna eat your soul.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of like Evil Dead,
yes.
like style of storytelling. It's just like, oh no, these are demons, bitch. Like this isn't The Exorcist. We're going to eat your soul.
Yeah.
And like you feel bad for her because she's on the fucking roof, and it's just like, oh fuck, I'm in a tight spot. Did you watch the remake?
No, I got through. Let me see. I got through, I think, the first 10 minutes. And the only reason I got that far is because Edward Furlong was in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Demons, though. Demons was pretty cool because it was like a virus of demons. Demons 2, though, if you get a chance to watch Demons 2, fucking wild-ass movie. It's a lot better than the first one, actually. It's fucking wild. I recently watched one because shout out to Paul in our Discord who had posted some local theaters in Charlotte doing Halloween double features of old movies. And one of those was Chopping Mall.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, it's a robot. It's a fucking robot that's killing people. Oh God, damn, I gotta go see it in theaters. Like, it's like $5, I think, to go see a double feature. I'm just like,
nice.
Oh, I'm planning on that shit because it all starts in October.
Oh, God. This literally just came to me, but I remember when you were talking about Kathy's video. When I was little, Mom worked at T-Town Video in Troutman and Statesville. She ran 5 stores, and every time I would get sick at school, which was a lot because I hated school, she'd go pick me up and bring me to the store, and I'd get to lay in the floor behind the counter and watch movies all day. And one of my favorites to pull, I had 2 that I always watched, horror movies. One was Pumpkinhead. The other was The Mangler.
Yeah.
Because...
that's actually a harder one to find. Yeah.
And Mom's always like, why do you like this movie so much? I'm like, because it's Freddy, but it's not. It's Robert Englund, but he's not Freddy.
No.
He's Robert Englund. He's what I imagine Robert Englund to be on his, like, regular day off.
Yeah. Robert Englund is so many weird ones. I remember one, it was 1,000 Psychos or some shit. That's a weird fucking movie. town of 1,000 psychos or some shit. And so
Yeah.
it's like every other horror movie. It's a stupid fucking plot. It's fucking hilarious. Cool death scenes. I remember one of my favorites go-tos, especially when it was on TV, because we had Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi was my channel, like other than like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. They would show the Chucky movies, and this is before Bride of Chucky came out. It was 1, 2, and 3. 3 was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it was kids with guns.
Yeah.
He does the worst fucking thing you could do. He takes out the chalk rounds and puts real fucking bullets in, and none of the kids are bothered to actually look at the gun. And they just firing fucking 308 rounds at each other. It's just like, oh shit, one kid gets blown the fuck up. The second one is the one with the sister.
Yeah.
Andy's got a stepsister.
Yeah.
An adopted stepsister who's fucking metal as shit. And they're fighting in a toy factory. The Chucky series has kind of got good and kind of got bad. Now it's in the television series. But the last one I saw is when Andy came back. The guy that played Andy came back to play Andy again as an adult. And they kind of fuck him over by the end of the movie. And I'm just like, okay, that's clever. But you remember when Bride of Chucky came out?
Oh, God, yes.
Fucking Billy Idol.
Yep. Rob Zombie.
Blondie's Blondie. Just call me. Yeah. Cool tight fucking drum solo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I talked about it with Alex not long ago about how that guy complained on tour. He's like, can we just do this song first and get it out of the way?
Yeah, really.
But yeah, man, fucking great soundtrack. Yeah, it was fucking fantastic of a movie.
I remember sitting in the living room
Jennifer Tilly, just god damn.
I remember sitting in the living room watching that with Mom and Dad. And weekend horror movie thing used to be the thing at the house. And it would be me, Mom and Dad, Charlie, and Lindsay, sometimes Brandon. But I remember this one was just me and Mom and Dad and Charlie. And we were all sitting around, and Bride of Chucky had just come out. Mom had the screener from T-Town, and we were watching it. And you see Jennifer Tilly come walking up, looking like she looks. And at the exact same time, me and my dad both go, "Who is that?" And Mom looks at me, and Dad goes, he proceeded to say things he wanted to do, and my response was, "I want to be her." Yeah. You can do what you want, but I want to be her.
I like that Marilyn Manson wannabe guy she was with, and she just tears that motherfucker apart. Like Chucky just fucks him up. And I'm like, God damn, that's a fucking awesome movie. John Ritter's in that movie. He gets killed with nails in an airbag. Yeah, the death scenes in that are fucking rough. The whole pregnant puppet thing was fucking hilarious by the end of it.
So messed up.
Yeah. Katherine Heigl's in that. She's a teenage girl.
Yep.
She ruins everything she touches. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
One of the other ones, other than Chucky, is like the one for Halloween season is Halloween. Those are awesome movies.
They are.
Not any other movie are you going to see Coolio fight Mike Myers.
Yeah.
With karate. With a dead Tyra Banks.
Yes.
In the background.
And we have to, of course, since it is that time of year, we have to pay homage to the Queen herself.
Oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. I liked her better. Like, it's kind of hard because she's in so many movies, like especially horror movies. Like, what is it? She's in Prom Night.
Terror Train
with that fucking Groucho Marx mask guy. But no, in Halloween, where she just fucking fights her brother the whole time. And the new Halloween movies that have come out recently, you know, kind of pretend everything after 2 never happened. So you got Halloween Kills, which was okay. Jamie Lee Curtis comes back for that. Her daughter and granddaughter and stuff like that.
That's the last one I've seen.
Halloween End came out recently. I haven't watched it. He survives Jamie Lee Curtis, and now you're just kind of rooting for Michael Myers. Now it's like, just kick this old woman's ass. But Jamie Lee Curtis will still be the fucking best in the Trading Places as a hooker.
Yeah, we all know why.
As a hooker, no, it's because Dan Aykroyd is like in love with her, and he has some choice words to say about Eddie Murphy when he wakes up in a hooker's house. But Jamie Lee Curtis, man, she's always nailed it in fucking horror movies. Her mom, the original Psycho scream queen, another fantastic set back when horror was a little bit harder to do, harder to get away with. You still had like the man code, the man act, and everything, trying to dictate what you could and couldn't do and shit like that. But going back to just the 80s, the golden age of horror, Return of the Living Dead. Great fucking soundtrack. It's metal as shit. Fucking the song "Party Time." This is such a good. There's just it's actually a song about a child murder. Like that whole song. It's "Party Time." That's the whole song is about a fucking child that was murdered.
Oh my god!
It's called "The Song of Sabine." That's what it was called. And like they're like, no, let's just change the title to the chorus. Party. Dun, dun.
Oh,
and I'm just
gosh.
like, I love movies like that back in the day where you're just like, hey, look, it's a gang. It's very multicultural for a gang of the 80s.
Yeah. They're awfully colorful. There's a lot of colors.
Yeah, there's not a lot of white guy, black girl, white girl, Asian gangs.
No, I meant more like pink hair.
Oh no, I meant my race because that's bullshit. that is like it's like the gang in Death Wish.
Yeah.
You guys are all in the same gang because that guy looks like a white supremacist and this guy looks like a Black Panther. You guys don't look like you get along at all, other than probably selling heroin or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I always it never worked for me because I'm like, what gang wears like hot pink hair?
The Warriors.
You're gonna hate me. I've still not watched that movie.
Oh, God, damn it!
I'm gonna watch it one day before I die. I promise.
It's fun. It's great. What are some other horror franchises you could think of that you kind of missed over? There's
Honestly,
so many.
I know you're trying to stay in the 80s, but I cannot be on a horror podcast and not pay homage to my mother's favorite horror movie,
Yeah,
Scream.
it's solid. It's a solid series. Scream 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah.
Fucking fantastic. And I think how Scream kind of opened the door on late 90s with the new horror movies and stuff. Scream, the first one's fucking great.
Oh, that's my favorite of the franchises. The
Fucking
first
Jamie Kennedy just losing his goddamn mind.
one. Jamie Kennedy is me in every movie. And Jamie Kennedy is me in Scream because that is me. I have had those conversations with people in stores before. Like when I got older and I used to go to T-Town with Mom would come get me and be like, "Hey, so-and-so wants to know about the horror movies." I'm like, "Okay, come here." So this has this and this has that. If you don't like this has that. And
The horror section was my section. I think it was because the artwork was so good.
oh god, yes.
Like some of the fucking like Electrocutioner stuff like that. A lot of the Nightmare on Elm Streets had really good artwork before they went to like Leprechaun had some really neat ones.
God, I love
I don't think Leprechaun's a horror movie. I think it's a comedy.
it is.
Because Jennifer Aniston still has a real nose. Another one that was kind of my favorite, and it doesn't age well, is Critters. Critters was a good like sci-fi monster movie.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio's in the third one. He should have got an Oscar.
I think it's funny. Everybody forgets that, or at least everybody I know forgets that like Gremlins is a horror movie.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg. Yeah, because what happened was he released it around Christmas time, and it's such like there's kind of an air about it in the beginning, kind of like the Goonies or something like that. It's just this weird little wholesomeness about it, and everything's kind of going awry because it's like slapstick comedy until Phoebe Cates talks about her dad burning alive in a chimney, and it's just like, oh yeah, I forgot what kind of movie this was. It's like, oh yeah, this ain't for kids.
Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, the cute little fluffy Gizmo, he's so cute.
Oh yeah, the little mugwai.
Yeah.
So he turns into a fucking demon.
Yeah,
He shits out
like,
demons.
Oh god.
He shits out demons.
Yeah, literally.
The second one, they're in a mall, or no, they're in a skyscraper.
Yeah.
Skyscraper, they just fuck shit up. And it's like, hey, he's still with Phoebe Cates. Good for him. She still got it.
But that was always what I liked about Scream, was because that was always my argument, and I know this is going to be your favorite thing that I say, but the feminist in me always did love the fact that every time we would watch these old school horror movies, it's like, to quote Sydney from Scream, it's always about this stupid big-breasted girl who's running up the stairs, but she should be going out the front door. It's insulting. And then you have Scream where that doesn't happen. And Wes Craven manages to turn the whole entire franchise on its head, and he still makes a hell of a movie. But you've still got these characters who you're rooting for the whole way through, and you get all the twists at the end and everything else too, and that happens in all the movies, at least the ones I've seen.
I think what made Scream neat was about the Gainesville murders. You that's where he was pulling from. And Wes Craven was kind of hit or miss around that time.
Yeah.
He had made another horror movie. I went in theaters and saw. I can't remember what it was called. It was probably 2010, 2011. It was about some kids in high school or something, and one guy just fucking murders all of them. But like, I'm just like, it was unbelievable, like to an extent. Like, you're telling me this kid could plan that far ahead, even on the back end. But around that time, that was just nothing but fucking remakes at that time.
Yeah.
I remember when they remade Texas Chainsaw with Jessica Biel and all them.
Yeah.
And that scene when they pick up the hitchhiker. And old girl, she's like, don't take me back. And she pulls that fucking gun out of nowhere. And boom, gone. Back glass gone. And those guys are going to go see Skinnerd. No.
I was not a fan of that remake. I was not. Now, however,
I like the viciousness of it. I think it really plays off a lot better. The house is fucking scary.
oh yeah, the house is scarier. I will go there.
Yeah.
My whole problem with I'm very true to form with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I have watched so many times the behind the scenes of how they made the thing and how they made it on a shoestring budget, and that's why it looks like it does, because 90% of what they used was real.
Well, like, even the guy that got to play fucking Leatherface is an athlete. And I do like the fact that these people hated each other on set.
Yeah.
Especially the girl and the wheelchair guy. Because they fucking hate each other. She just dips him in the fucking woods. He's like, fuck you, bitch. And then fucking zip.
Yup.
And she couldn't run fast enough.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I could imagine, like, that's real terror in her face by the end of that. She's like, oh my God, I outrun that motherfucker.
Yep.
It's like, dude, he's 6'5" and runs a 440. Yeah, you need to run, bitch.
Yeah, really.
You need to be a track star.
Yep. But that was one of the things where I remember when they did the remake with Jessica Biel, and I'm like, oh God, this is going to be a dumpster fire. And I watched it because I made myself watch it, and I'm like, okay, I see where they're going, but I'm not a fan. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning happened.
I'm not going to Vietnam. You're goddamn right you're not going to Vietnam. You're going to Texas.
Oh, I mean, can we for a moment talk about Matt Boomer? Because to get in Arlie Army's face.
I got your name. I got your ass.
Yeah. To get in his face.
That's when I watched that movie, I was just like, can you imagine if they had drafted Thomas Hewitt?
Vietnam would have lasted like 3 days.
Yep. Hey, what's that in the woods?
That's the end.
That's
the end of the war.
That's the devil himself.
Yes.
They didn't even give him a gun. He just showed up.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to.
Killing pigs, showing up wearing faces.
Yeah.
But he would have to wear like multiple faces because that's as big as he is. So he has to wear like faces of 2 people. Oh my God. He'd not be over.
Oh yeah.
I think a knockdown drag out between him and Jason would have been the shit. But the only problem with Jason is he's unkillable.
Yeah.
That's why I like the argument that who would be better in a fight, Mike Myers or Jason? Those two immortal beings going after each other, because Jason would fight Mike Myers because Mike Myers kills children.
Yes.
Jason don't play that game.
Yeah.
He would never kill a child unless it's Corey Feldman, because that motherfucker grew up and learned karate.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He learned it. Where?
In an orphanage.
No. On Lost Boys. He fought vampires on Lost Boys.
Oh, that's a movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, come on in.
I put that one right up there with like Fright Night as far as the campy vampire thing.
That's another movie that had a great remake.
Yes.
With David Tennant.
I just love David
Tennant.
Tennant.
Oh boy, and it's like the song was cool. You know, Anton Yelchin is in it. Imogen Potts was the hot girl. And I'm just like, she's a fucking scream queen too, because she's in a lot of horror movies, and seeing her turn into a vampire, I'm just like, dude, you should fuck her. Like, you should hit that. You should get that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, every other girl's in the...
You know, David Tennant's like a magic magician.
Yeah, David Tennant's the doctor.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And all the other girls are sitting in the movie theater going, I'm kind of scared of Colin Farrell, but I'm kind of not.
Colin Farrell was so like... He was like very bro
yes.
in the beginning. He was like, hey man, like he was one of those uplifting friends. It's like, hey man, you look great. Nice fucking Dockers, man. Because he's talking about his shoes. And it's just like... I want to hate him. Like, I can't, though, because he's just like, yeah, man, be yourself. Hell yeah. And it's just like very positive vibes for a guy who eats children.
Yeah. Yeah.
teenagers and shit. And they picked a great place to do it in Henderson, fucking Las Vegas, which is like a nowhere spot. Because in Friday Night in the original, they're in a neighborhood that's affluent and stuff like that, but not here. Nah, we're in the middle of fucking desert, bro. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. One of the things that I always thought was interesting. I'm big on the vampire thing, as you know.
What did you think of them announcing Clive Barker's, or not Clive Barker, but Anne Rice's interview with a vampire?
That's actually what I was getting ready to talk about. Charlie and I are very particular about Anne Rice. What I love, if you've watched the original Interview with the Vampire, I remember the first time I watched it, I had not read the books. I watched the movie and I'm like, they're friends. Asterisk. They're friends. You read the book, they're not friends. They're friends.
They're historical friends.
Yes, they're historical friends. And then I read through the whole vampire series, because you get Interview with the Vampire and you have like your hardcore A-list Antonio Banderas, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, all of them in their heyday. And it's a wonderful movie. They did it very well for the book being what it is. Everybody did a good job, I thought, for the time period. Then you get Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
And I will forever believe, and no one can take this from me. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. And that's just the way it is. Stuart Townsend was the best Anne Rice vampire I have seen in a horror movie so far.
So far.
I will say so far, because I have not seen the TV show thing, but I want to, and I'm going to watch it. But you can't have somebody like Aaliyah play Akasha, Queen of the Damned, and top that. You're not going to beat that. I mean, yeah, you could throw somebody in there now, but at that time, that was the peak of her career. And that opened a whole door for where she could have been an actress and all this other stuff. You're not going to beat that. But when I watched the trailer for this, my jaw was on the floor. And I'm like, oh, they're finally going to do it justice. We're finally going to get to see them actually do this justice. And I am so excited. I am like nerd excited.
Yeah. I was excited. I thought that was really cool that they're going to bring that back, and just do a whole mini series for it, which is probably what it deserved more than a movie.
I agree.
And because you kind of flesh out more characters going into it, you can probably do extenuations, spinoffs, stuff like that. Kind of like your Stranger Things could do a spinoff if they wanted to. But to this day, my favorite vampires are going to be Dusk Till Dawn. You can't tell me those motherfuckers ain't the most badass goddamn bloodsuckers out there.
I don't know. If I had to pick my favorite cheesy vampire movie, I would have to pick John Carpenter's Vampires.
With James Woods.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
Because I love that.
That's fun. That's like watching The Punisher fight vampires.
It is.
But fucking Dusk Till Dawn is 2 movies.
It is.
It's like Full Metal Jacket. There's 2 movies.
Yep, it is.
But George Clooney, fucking like, I give it to the motherfucker just 86ing. Like, 86 in Vampires with Juliette Lewis, fucking Harvey Keitel, who plays a preacher who's just last man standing.
Selma Hayek, the queen herself.
And the dude conned his way into sucking her toes. Because he's a feet man. But even Quentin Tarantino being in it and being a crazy person is fucking fantastic. The Netflix series was cool because it was kind of like intersecting the stories. It was cool. Hey, why is this preacher with his kids? Well, he lost his faith.
Yeah.
Oh, why has he got his kids? His wife died. Hey, why are these guys bebopping through the fucking desert? Oh no, they're fucking straight up criminals. Like they're fucking monsters of human beings. But as soon as you see Danny Trejo behind the bar, look at these 2 motherfuckers walk in. He knew what was up.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, bro, this place ain't for you, because those motherfuckers knew that if they tried to fight these guys, they're going to lose a lot of people, because these guys are straight up killers.
Yeah.
The vampires are vampires, and instinct's going to kick in, but they never faced killers before. Yeah. And I like that Tom Savini's in it with his dick gun.
You gotta love Tom Savini and everything.
And it's just like, it's fucking, him as a vampire was fucking cool as shit. And I don't even consider it a fucking horror movie. It's an action movie that just happens to have vampires in it.
It is. It's an action movie with vampires in it.
And just like vampires.
Yeah.
But you bitched to John Carpenter. John Carpenter's got some of the best fucking horror movies out there. The Thing. Holy shit.
I love that movie.
Oh my god. I wanted to go to Antarctica so fucking badly.
That was that movie where I'm like, I remember that was one of the first movies where I got to I was old enough when we watched it that I actually got to sit down and have like a semi-intelligent conversation with Dad about a horror movie, which was just hilarious to me.
Dum dum.
Yep. And I'm like,
Dum dum.
Dad's like, if you were any of them, who do you think you would be? Because, again, each character is a certain thing. Like, one of them's the panic that's not, oh my God, what are we going to do? Everything's on fire. I don't know.
Everyone's kind of losing their shit except for Kurt Russell and Keith David.
Yeah.
And Keith David's like, be cool, cracker.
Yeah.
Like, he's that guy.
Yeah. And Kurt Russell is what I imagine my dad would be like in the situation. Yeah. Just relaxed, calm, very chill. Like, okay, here's what we're going to do.
Kurt Russell's really cool, especially when he's just, like, losing his shit. And I posted it during COVID. It was Kurt Russell sitting at his desk. He's like, it's just us now.
Everybody's really mad at you, and nobody trusts each other now.
No one trusts anyone anymore.
Yep.
And he's just having a drink, playing chess on the computer. And I'm just like, yeah, that'd be me. That'd be me just fucking losing my shit.
Yep.
Everyone be cool, motherfucker.
Yes.
Be cool. And like, what's really cool, I think, is the horror movies, especially American horror movies, are like a touchstone a little bit, and just for us since we were kids.
Yeah.
But I think because I focused a lot of attention on those, I was able to kind of branch out and see the other side of horror on like stuff like Suspiria or Demons, which are made in Italy, made overseas, and some of the overseas horror movies were pretty good. Ju-On or like The Ring and stuff like that. Those were always fun movies.
Pan's Labyrinth was good.
Pan's Labyrinth was set in Spain during Nazi occupation, I think.
Yep.
And even that one, I don't consider a horror movie.
I don't either, even
I
though
consider
it's
a fantasy thriller.
Yeah, even though it's technically in the genre, I don't consider it either.
And there's a lot of new horror movies that are actually that are thrillers, and because it's hard to pin horror sometimes.
Yeah.
You get a movie like Silence of the Lambs. Is that horror?
Nah.
So for some people, it fucking is.
Oh yeah.
My buddy Cap hates that goddamn shit. Some dude's gonna mind fuck you and eat you. He's a smart Dahmer.
Yes, the scary kind.
Yeah, I think what would be kind of dismissive is like when we talk about remakes and stuff like that. I don't think they get a lot of credit anymore.
I agree.
There's some movies that get remade and it's just like, oh, it's just schlock. It's just, you remade it. All you did was change the ethnicity and that was it. You didn't give me a deeper dive into like this character or what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I liked the remake of Friday the 13th because it was a guy looking for his sister. That's not a tale that's been told in Friday the 13th history.
Yeah.
It was always either the Tommy trilogy or they decide to go to Manhattan or in space, motherfucker. Which Hellraiser did before.
Yep.
That was cool.
Oh, God.
Hellraiser! But, no, I would like, if you was to give me a version of Sleepaway Camp again, without that, trans plot line.
Yeah.
Give me another tale. Give me another story. Give me something, Maybe it's, like if I was to redo Sleepaway Camp, maybe it's a camp that's closing down because kids don't go to fucking camp anymore.
Yeah.
What's going on? Hey, I gotta scare it up a little bit. Maybe I'll do like a Halloween theme or something like that, or do like a fake death, kind of like the summer of '84 type shit.
Yeah.
Let's just make it scary.
Yeah.
But some of these new horror movies have actually been really fantastic. One that is fucking stupid as shit is Malignant. Malignant came out of fucking nowhere, and I watched that movie and I'm just like, does she know fucking karate? Like it's so weird to watch that movie and see all these other actors that are in that movie. But like, you got movies like Pearl that just came out. You got movies like Barbarian, which is kind of the tale of, hey, you remember the stuff we told as kids? Don't get in a car with strangers. Don't go to a stranger's house. Blah, blah, blah. And now we have Airbnb and we have fucking Uber. Let's go back and find out why that was scary.
Yeah.
Because it fucking was.
Yeah.
And like, I watched a newer horror movie by Ari Aster. It was X from A21. And it was fun. Like, it's a good, solid... I didn't go to theaters and see it, but I finally watched it. It was really good. Some of the ones, Hereditary.
Hereditary was difficult for me because it was one of those things where I'm like, I went into it with I heard too many people tell me how good it was, and I went in with extremely high hopes.
See, I never go with high hopes on any movie.
Well, I do it, especially if I've heard good things. I will go in with high hopes, and I went in with high hopes, and the first like 10 minutes, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so glad I did not go to the movie theater, pay money to go see this movie.
It's a slow burn.
But when it takes off,
Well, they decap a kid? Will they kill a kid?
no, past that.
Oh, with the
No, the desk. The desk was what had me because
Yeah.
I teach school. So how many kids have I seen nod off at a desk? And then
you
you're
think they're
like,
possessed by Satan?
no. And then you just sit there and you're like, I know how hard a school desk is. Do you know how hard you have to hit yourself to hurt yourself like that on a school desk? It's hard.
Just bashing his fucking brains in.
Yeah. And then,
I like how he just nonchalantly decapitates his sister.
Yeah.
And just drives home.
yeah, that was one of those moments where even in my 20s to 30s, Mom stopped the movie and looked at me and said, if you ever do something like that, I will have your ass. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And you got some really good ones, like A Quiet Place. Get Out.
Get Out was amazing.
Nope, which was fun. Us was a little bit harder to watch, but I think because he tied it into like American, consumerism, it was pretty good. But like you have other movies that kind of like your Dawn of the Dead, your Night of the Living Dead, your stuff like that, your George Romero's, and then you had Return of the Living Dead, which is kind of more comedic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Return of the Living Dead Part 3.
Part 3 was badass. That was metal as shit. But what's hard to find is Part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2 is hard to find because it's the same actors. It's the same fucking people that are in that movie playing different people, and it's just like so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Because you can tell they try to produce 2 movies at the same time, and people are like, "No, change this," and they're like, "We actually have enough footage to make 2 movies."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually a hard one to find. The Scream series is fantastic. I haven't watched that television show. I heard it's pretty good.
I have not watched it. I've heard it was good too. One of the things that I'm interested that's coming up, I like that the last couple years they have redone some of my quality staple horror movies from my childhood. Like they redid Pet Sematary. And I remember when I heard they were going to redo Pet Sematary, I got on Facebook and I reposted the trailer. And I said, y'all better bring your A game.
Well, how did you like in your opinion? How do you think they did?
I think they did really well. I really do, because it stuck with the original enough. They tweaked it in a couple places where I wasn't really a fan of it.
My favorite thing about that was John Lithgow.
Oh yes,
because that would be a hard guy to replace.
Yeah.
Old boy from the Munsters.
Oh yeah.
Hello now.
Yeah.
You can't go there.
Yeah, Fred Gwynn.
Yeah,
I was actually hoping that Stephen King would do it.
Yeah.
And just be him, because he'd be perfect with it. But that was one of the things that I remember about that movie being the original movie was so particular in my horror movie childhood. And
How
then
do you think they did Zelda? With her coming down that fucking laundry chute.
I actually liked it enough because that didn't bother me as much. It did not bother me as much as the original Zelda. The original Zelda still bothers me. But then I'm like, they're going to redo it.
So me and you went to theaters and saw the first one.
Yes.
And the opener.
Oh,
Georgie getting his arm ripped off.
crawling away, crying, blood.
In the rain, in
Oh.
a trail of blood going into the fucking, the ground. I'm just like, that was it.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, solid. Bravo. Bravo. The rest of this can be shit, but
Yep. Yes.
bravo.
Absolutely.
Bravo. And it was a fun movie. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't pan it, especially because of the second one. But me and you were sitting at your house and we were talking about the second one. And I said, they're going to do the scene. They're going to kill a gay guy. Which happens in the book.
Yes, it does.
In a brutal fashion.
Yes, it is extremely brutal.
And you looked at me like, no. I'm just like, oh, they're going to fucking do it. They're not going to do the child fuck scene at the end, but like they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
They're going to kill the kid.
Yeah, pick your battles.
Yeah, pick the amount of cocaine you're going to do when you write a book.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, that is so visceral to watch.
Yeah.
In the beginning of both part 1 and part 2, the beginnings are just so rough.
Yeah.
And I think it sets the tone. And I think they did really good. A lot of people pan the ending because I think it's just kind of kind of a cheesy ending almost. Mm-hmm. But the horrors they go through,
Oh yeah.
the gauntlet of fucked up shit, is fantastic.
One of the things that I liked about the new one is, I remember I liked the Tim Curry one because it's Tim Curry. I mean, come on, you don't do better than Tim Curry. And I remember I liked it because he had that Freddy thing about him, because it was cheesy and goofy, and is your refrigerator running? You better go catch it, and all that kind of stuff. And then you get this one, and it's like, oh nah, we're not going there.
We're not funny.
Yeah, we're going.
We're mean.
We're going the real way. And I'm thinking, how are they going to take that goofy, funny Tim Curry movie and actually make it a horror movie? And by God, kudos, because they pulled it off.
And I've read the book twice and listened to the audiobook by Stephen King. Mm-hmm. Stephen King doing the audio, by the way, and doing the voices. It's wild.
I bet it is.
Because you get to the tail end of that book and it's just like, yeah, I think I probably should be listening to this. Like it's like people who don't know, they all fuck each other. Like,
yeah.
I do like the changes they made, which is fine because they started in the 80s instead of starting in the 50s.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff going on with the characters, the development. I do like they kind of left out the whole bicycle scene with the wife. Mm-hmm. I do like they left that out because it's such a cheesy fucking scene.
Yeah.
But a movie me and you went and saw another remake, Carrie. God damn. I'm just like, that was a fun movie to watch.
It was. It really was.
Like a lot of people, like your dog disagrees, but I remember us watching that in theaters and that girl flying her fucking face through that windshield. Boy.
Yeah. Major kudos to, I'm going to mess up her name, Chloe Grace Moretz is how you say that?
Yeah.
Her and...
Julianne Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Julianne Moore. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, she does the scene. She does the scene perfectly. Carrie's got her back turned. It's like,
yes.
Who the fuck was that?
Yeah.
That's her crazy ass mama.
Mm-hmm. They're all gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, they're all gonna fucking laugh at you and kill you. Yep. I do like there's a lot of fan theories about the Stephen King universe. That her dad is actually Randall Flagg. He came here and disappeared. He seduced her and gave her this demon inside of her. She tries to murder her, if you remember. They showed that was very visceral in watching that in theaters when she's giving birth. And I'm just like, is they trying to kill a baby?
Yeah.
God damn, straight from the resurrection. She came back you burn in hell, bitch. She's clawed her fucking self doing that whole pain and glory and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's a fucking beat down of a murder. You could, I remember watching the original when I was a kid with Sissy Spacek. I'm like, yeah, you couldn't kill the mom fast enough.
Yeah, no. No.
And I'm just like, God damn, the rocks falling from the sky. And it's just like, yeah, you'd burn in hell, Carrie White. And I'm just like, that's such a great fucking tone.
Yeah.
Burn in hell, Carrie White. And
yes.
It's just because in the book, Carrie is kind of a chubby girl with acne and red hair and just isn't liked. And that's what kind of panned the whole new one was. Chloe Grace Moretz is fucking good looking. And I'm just like, yeah, most people who are on movies are good looking.
Yeah.
You got your weird Forrest Whitakers with his Forrest Whitaker eye.
Yeah, but that's Forrest Whitaker. He can get away with that.
Now, they're doing another Leprechaun movie.
Oh, no.
And if no one's ever seen Leprechaun, please do yourself a favor.
Yes, immediately. Turn this off and go.
And watch Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yes, skip all of them but that one.
That's the best one.
It is.
It's so fun. And some of the new horror movies that have been coming out, they look good. Like I said, Barbarian looked really good. Pearl looks fantastic.
Oh, that reminds me. My children at school, bless them, have found out I like horror movies. And they said, Miss, we got a movie you got to watch. We got this trailer you got to see. And I'm like, what's it called? And they said, it's called Smile.
Yes.
We're sitting there watching this trailer. And I'm watching this trailer and I'm like, okay, all right, okay. And then at the perfect moment, I could not have planned it better if I'd have planned it myself. Teacher down the hall comes to my door, and there's this big window in my door.
She's just smiling.
She knocks on the door. She's got this great big cheesy grin on her face, and all the kids are like, "Oh no, she's not!" And they get up and they start running in the corner. I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing."
So that's actually become a gimmick. Actually, I've noticed online, people are taking pictures of people smiling and not flinching at baseball games, and it's just like, oh god, this is the Ring all over again.
Yeah.
You just call someone while they're watching. Hey man, what are they doing? They're watching The Ring, man. Let's call them. 7 days. 7 days. Oh god, it's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember those gimmicks. They were fucking fantastic, and you don't get that a lot anymore. And like Smile really can do it. I do like some of the new cultish movies that have come out by like Ty West, who does Your Next, House of the Devil, which was done in probably I think it was like 2012, but it looks like it was made in 1972. It looks like that movie, and it's about a cult. And what I know you probably don't like is Midsommar.
Oh god.
I fucking love Midsommar because I'm just like, you knew what you were getting into. You knew when you were biting yourself in the ass when you're just like, let's go drink mushroom tea with a bunch of Swedes. And it's just like, these white motherfuckers are insane. They pushed the old man off a rock and killed him with a hammer. And, we watch, we talk about some of the horror shows we've always liked. And it's kind of hard for me watching a horror show because I don't see it as horror. A perfect example of this is the Exorcist television show with Gina Davis. There was the big, I'm not going to spoil it because it's still a solid series, but they give the big reveal of who's who in the show, and I'm just like, yeah, that's great. That's great. It's fucking perfect. It's a great way to tell the story. It's better than Exorcist 2. Like,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but just to me, it could have gone further. To me, like there's a lot of intense scenes.
Oh yeah,
especially the kids with the headphones on.
Yeah,
that's a rough scene to watch. But I think you could take it further. Like I always feel that way when you're doing horror and you're doing it as a television series, and where you're doing it, you can always push the envelope a little bit further. And a lot of that comes from kind of those movies that I don't really say is horror, but more of like revenge fantasy, like Saw and Hostel. Yeah. Those aren't really horror to me, but it's the body horror and how big they got. I remember someone gave me a gift of all 7 movies as a Secret Santa thing. I was like, holy shit, I forgot there's 7 of these movies because I saw the 7th one in theaters, 3D. Oh my god, that was fucking fun.
That's so.
But just seeing horror movies in theaters is always fun.
Oh yeah.
What would you say was the best horror movie you ever saw in theaters? It's hard.
I know the funniest one, but and that was just because of you. Because I'm never gonna live Crimson Peak down.
It's a brother and sister fucking.
I didn't know. All I knew was.
So for those who don't know, me and Cristy.
Spoiler alert.
Me and Cristy would go to the movies a lot, and we would pick the movies. Yeah. It was her turn to pick.
Yep.
And she picked, in all aspects, a great gothic horror movie with Tom Hiddleston, that blonde fuck from Sons of Anarchy,
Guillermo del Toro,
that redheaded bitch Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam's in it.
What's his name from Supernatural? Bobby.
Oh yeah,
he's in it.
I forgot he was in there.
He gets killed.
Oh, of course he does.
In a bathroom.
Of course he does.
Solid movie overall, but I called it.
And I did not.
I called it, like I did that thing where I just call a movie right out, and I'm just like, oh yeah, the brother and sister are fucking each other.
And I turned and looked at you. No.
Yeah.
And then I was wrong.
3 fingers later. Oh, Sister Fister's right there on screen.
And I'm like,
called it.
I'm like, but the movie was so good until that happened.
It's still good. Like the effects are great. The whole
it's not the same story you've heard 400,000 times.
And it's the dead wives trying to warn her and shit. There's like a fucking fetus in the fucking red clay and shit. Like it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And she came out rich at the end, so good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna say if I had to pick best horror movie, honestly, and you're gonna think I'm out of my mind, From Hell.
From Hell, yeah, with Johnny Depp. Mm-hmm. And who was the redheaded girl? Was that
Heather Graham?
Oof. Goddamn Lord's mistress right there.
Heather Graham herself. Because
She gets killed. I didn't like the ending.
I remember going there and watching this, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is historical horror fiction, and I love it.
I liked it up until old boy's eyes turned black. That kind of was a miss for me.
Yeah.
But granted, Johnny Depp's character is on fucking opium the whole fucking time.
Yes.
He's just fucking being hipster as hell, and this is like, let me just smoke one more.
Yeah.
Because it's like he gets killed, like I think in the one version of the ending.
He overdoses.
Yeah, Heather Graham. Yeah, he dies. But Heather Graham gets killed in one ending.
Yeah, in one ending, but
In the theatrical release, I think they let her live, which is kind of a rough thing to watch. Sometimes it's she got.
yeah. That was one of those things when I remember I went to the theaters to see Freddy vs. Jason, and I'm like,
that was a good movie.
it was a good movie. I loved it, and I loved every single solitary part of it except when they smoked and they made the Freddy caterpillar. I'm like, okay.
The Jay and Silent Bob type thing.
Yeah, I'm like, this was an absolutely wonderful idea until you did that. Like, you could have left that out. But my favorite thing about it is I remember after I went to the theater to see, because I went with a bunch of my friends in high school. And after that, my friend Shakara came up to me in the hallway, and she said, I found an interview with the director, and he wants to do a sequel. And I said, how are you going to sequel Freddy versus Jason? How are you going to sequel this? And she said, he wants the sequel to be Freddy and Jason are both in hell, and Pinhead's there. I said, don't toy with my emotions like that.
Even then, it's just it doesn't kind of fit.
Yeah.
Because Pinhead's always there because you want something. They don't want anything.
Yeah.
They just are. Now a good one would be them versus Ash from Ash and the Evil Dead. This deadite slaughtering motherfucker man at a time. Yeah, that'd be pretty fucking metal.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who know me know that I love the remake of Evil Dead.
As do I.
Saw it twice in theaters during a matinee because fuck it, that's why. They got my money twice, and I got it on Blu-ray.
That's only happened to me one time. I have paid money to see a movie, watched the movie, left, came back, paid money again to see the exact same movie again. And that was Exorcism of Emily Rose.
That was a fun movie.
I loved that movie.
That was a fun movie. The Exorcism movies are kind of hit or miss. The Haunting in Connecticut was a little weird. The one with Sissy Spacek was kind of weird.
Yeah, that was...
When it turns out they're just being molested.
Yeah.
The Amityville Horror movies as a franchise, I think there's 18.
That's 18 too many.
Yeah, it's just... And I really don't like the Conjuring movies as much as a lot of people because I don't like the grift of the true people who are in it. The movies are fantastic.
Yeah.
But like in the movie The Devil Made Me Do It, you just advocated a man not to be put to the chair because you said Satan told him to kill them people. What? What the fuck? I don't give a fuck if Ronald McDonald told you to murder someone. You're going to the fucking chair. Like, what the fuck? God damn. And it's a true story because they got a guy off. They gave him life. And I'm just like, he killed some people.
See, my problem with... I love the old horror movies, I do, and I love the old horror movie tropes so much. You know that the black and white House on Haunted Hill is one of my favorite horror movies. You give me the old tropes and I love that stuff, but I am also a big sucker for something that I have not seen 400,000 times. That's why when you got here, I'd be like, Midnight Mass was amazing! And it's vampires, but still, it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, that could happen. That could happen. I know vampires aren't a thing, but if they were, that would work out that way probably.
I think the great thing about some of the horror television shows is, especially with like Netflix and stuff and Hulu, they're able to get a little kind of ramp up because if we try to talk about the cadence that is Black Mass or Midnight Mass, it ramps the fuck up in the last episode.
Oh yeah.
Everything is just exposition up until that last episode, and it is a fucking horror show.
Yes, it is.
The reveals throughout the series are fucking fantastic, but it all comes to a head.
Yeah.
My dumbass accidentally, I sat down and watched it, got to that last episode, and it hit the mouse, and it clicked it to the last 5 minutes. And I watched that first. I'm just like, oh, fuck it. Okay, let's just see what happened. How'd they get here? How'd this happen? No! How the sun's coming up. Okay, we're good. We're good.
That's one of my big problems with... I loved Hannibal so much, the show. I was so mad when they did it.
Best friends.
Yeah, best friends. I was so mad when they did it because I thought, you're not going to beat Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. You're not. And what I love is they didn't try. They did a different version of it, but if that show would have gotten picked up by Netflix or HBO or something like that, they could have really gone somewhere and really did good with that, I think.
I heard the theory that in the movie Hannibal Rising, about a young Hannibal Lecter,
I read the book.
What we're seeing in the Hannibal show is that guy.
Yeah.
That's not Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal. That's Mads Mikkelsen's Hannibal. And I've turned a lot of people onto it. And I tried to get my dad to watch it. I said, because season 2, the opener of season 2 is the best fucking opener. And it's Hannibal Lecter doing a knockdown, drag out fight with a fucking FBI agent.
Yeah.
And they're just like, here's the first 5 minutes of it, and then it's just like 6 months earlier.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get fucked, you bastards! I want to fight Lawrence Fishburne. That's such a good horror. That's a great horror series. It's not meant to be a horror series. It's meant to be like a thriller almost.
Yeah.
It's just does horrific shit.
And they got away with a lot for
That's NBC.
regular television. I mean, they got away with a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember I watched a interview with Brian Fuller, the guy who did it, and he was like, he said, to be honest with you, we'd just do something new every week and just see how far we could go before somebody said we couldn't do it anymore. And they went as far as they could.
Now, you had turned me on to, like when we first met, you had turned me on to a Supernatural, which is technically a horror show.
Yeah, technically.
And we would watch that shit, and you would get to one point, and you would stop, and sometimes you would go like, "Hey, this is this," and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Who's that redheaded chick? Like, oh, she's the devil.
Yes, she is.
Any other red flags? Like, she seems pretty solid. Looks like somebody sewed her head back on, but got a long neck.
Oh God.
Got legs that go all the way up. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, and now after a while, it stopped being a horror show. It became like a slapstick kind of like,
yeah, pretty
don't
much.
Put your dick in that.
Lesson number 1.
I think my favorite one is like, it's on a tangent. It's just like the dog that turned into a black lady. And I'm just like, and I just love that conversation. He's like, "Hey, don't be mad. I got something." And it's just like, "What did you get?" And Jensen Ackles at that point had already had this voice. He's like, "What did you get, Sammy?" And it's just like, it's a hot black prostitute.
I like when he leans over, looks like,
that's not what I got.
Yeah, he leans over, looks like, she can stay.
Yeah, she can stay. I know you don't like them, and it's just like, you know that in a longer verse of that scene is just like, I'm not a racist. It's just like,
yeah,
I know you don't like these things. It's just like,
yeah.
But that was always a fun show, and it kind of leads into like, we got movies that kind of touched on some of those horror tropes they were talking about, because basically Supernatural is Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like, we got better like original stories. Kind of like when they're doing like werewolves and stuff. All right, we got a new werewolf movie coming out. We got new vampire movies coming out. That's one thing I hate is I want a really good fucking werewolf movie on par with like The Howling.
Easy now.
Because the last, and I get a lot of hate for this, the last good werewolf movie I saw was American Werewolf in Paris. And people hate that. People hate that movie. I'm just like, I fucking love it. That movie's fucking hilarious.
No, I'm not going to talk trash about that. I'm going to talk trash about the fact that that's the last good horror werewolf movie you've seen.
There's not a lot of good ones.
Come on.
Like Dog Soldiers was fun.
Oh my God.
Dog Soldiers was fun. But like, there's not a lot of good. Like the Hugo Weaving Wolfman remake, I didn't like.
I thought Cursed was good.
Oh yeah, with Christina Ricci. Yeah, but I had saw American Wolf in Paris after that.
Oh, okay.
Funniest thing in
makes sense
Cursed
then.
was the werewolf gives him the finger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would love a good werewolf movie that kind of leaves it hidden until the end. Because there's been a few out. There was one where they're set in like Saskatoon, Canada or something, or British Columbia, and it's a small town. And there's something attacking people, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's a werewolf!" And the sheriff's like, "Dude, it's not a fucking werewolf. It's a wolf." They're like, "No, it's just like paranoia strikes the town, and it turns into like the last 5 minutes of the howling." But like, I would love another fun one like American Werewolf in London, where he's just hallucinating the whole time, seeing his dead friend, and it's just like, did he just have a dream about Nazi werewolves? Just loading up the place.
Yeah.
Just a funny fucking scene like that with the same practical effects.
Yeah.
Like Teen Wolf.
I like when they do the cheesy funny stuff sometimes, but I have to be in the mood. Like, if I'm in that kind of mood, the first thing I will do, I will go over to that cabinet over there and pull Slither.
Oh yeah.
I love that because Nathan Fillion is me.
Yeah.
In that movie, he's like, well, this is turning out to be just a great day, isn't it? And it's like, yes.
Do you remember there was a guy had made a trilogy of movies, and The Thing is the first one. And it was Idea Trilogy. John Carpenter did The Thing. Then he did... it was the one where Satan is in a capsule under a church. And he gets loose.
Oh, God.
And then there was a movie with Sam Neill where Edge of Darkness or something like that.
Oh, yeah, Edge of Darkness.
Yeah, so it was like a writer who was writing horror. But these are a trilogy of horror movies, technically. And it was like different aspects of horror. And I remember the one with the Satan in a Bottle one was fucking rough. Like, it was just knock down, drag out. This motherfucker turning loose on one kid after the other because they're all fucking college students.
Yeah.
And it's got that Asian man from Tremors.
Hey.
He's in it. But a horror movie I just watched that is a gem was Frighteners.
You've never seen Frighteners?
No, I've seen it 1,000 times.
Oh.
But I watched it the other day. I was just
okay.
like, I forgot how fun this movie is.
It's hilarious.
Jake Busey is it. Arlie Ermey. The only reason I watched it is because I listened to a podcast about Charles Starkweather. And it's just like, they're killing all these people. And it's like the hey, did Carol Ann Fugit be part of it? Yeah, she was fucking part of it. She's a murderer. And like, Frighteners is such a fun movie. And it's got Ian Combs in it. The guy who played in Reanimator. Oh, that's another classic horror movie.
I have to finish that one. I've gone halfway and not finished it.
Yeah. The decapitated head eats out a girl. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh my god.
Fantastic. Back when you could do real horror in this country. Back when you could do real things.
Oh my god.
Back in my America. Back when Turn of the Living Dead was still fucking fantastic.
It still is.
3, I remember when 3 came out. I had that on VHS, and it was just like, this bitch is fucked up. Like, she took a bunch of glass to the face.
Yeah.
And she's just all covered in fucking...
chains and spikes and stuff.
Oh, that's a good way to talk about the zombie franchise in horror is kind of hit or miss. The last zombie movie I saw in theaters was that had John Leguizamo in it. It was Land of the Dead, where the zombies become kind of smart toward the end. That was the last good one I think I saw.
This is probably going to be a controversial take, but I personally think that we have not seen zombie stuff because of oh god, I had it and it totally left me. With the kid and
Last of Us?
no, the cop and the show with what's the blonde girl from AMC that you always talk about? Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
I think Walking Dead has ruined us for zombies for quite a while because it's like living in a candy store. At first, it's the best thing in the whole entire world, and then after a while, it's like, okay, let's do something else.
Did you
now.
watch that when it came out?
Yes.
I was in my apartment in Statesville with my roommate and his girlfriend, and we had some people over October 31st of 2009. That's when that fucking shit came out. I think it was 2009. 2009?
I think so, yeah.
It was October 31st. I knew that. We all sat down and watched that shit. And it was just like, because we called the cable company. Yeah, we want cable. And then we got canceled the next day.
Hey, whatever works.
Because then we're just going to pirate the shit.
Yeah.
But, no, I remember when Walking Dead first came out. It was in black and white. No, it was in color. Then they did the black and white later on of the first episode. And, yeah, that was, they were going to go so different many ways with that. And it kind of spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because they're going to do Last of Us into a show with
Cool.
Pedro Pascal and the little girl who played Lady Mormont in
Oh,
Game of
cool.
Thrones. She's going to be Ellie, and I'm thinking that's going to be a heart wrencher. Because if they open it up like the games, it's like, and that's another like horror games have been telling better stories lately, like Dead Space, Last of Us 2, stuff like that. It really, really good. Granted, these are 5 hour long cutscenes.
Yeah.
If you add them all up, but yeah, I'm really excited for the next bound of horror that's coming out. Like I said, a lot of this is viciousness about it. There's a lot of just straight up killing for the sake of killing. But it always adds to it. I would love another campy horror movie, though. I would just eat that shit up.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of shit coming around, a lot of people who try to do that. And it's hard to do original ideas because, every story's already been told.
Yeah.
And you're just adding something different. But when you get the cool, when they do remakes right, I think that's always fun.
Yeah, me too.
And I think what it is, a lot of the fandom kind of ruins it.
Well, it depends. You get your fandom where you're like, no, you're not going to touch it. You're going to leave it alone. It's perfect just the way it is. And then you get your nerds who are like, if we had the technology to remake Tremors, the first one, the right way, what would that be like?
I would have to disagree with you hard on that one.
I know.
Unless they bring back Reba McEntire.
Oh, she'd do it in a heartbeat.
I don't know, man. She didn't do the other ones.
It's because she didn't have to.
But some of the stuff like the Hellraiser, going back into what we were just talking about in the beginning, I'm really excited for this one because they haven't really said it who Pinhead is, but it's a woman.
Yeah.
And I really want it to be Kirsty Cotton.
I think that'd be interesting. That would be my only acceptable substitution for Doug Bradley.
Just her and the Pleasure Squad show up and they're like, yo, what up? You rang? And like even the boxes are different. Have you seen if you watch the trailer, the boxes are different.
Oh no.
It's still a box, but it changes shape and size.
Cool.
They've really made it more elaborate than the original. Just pick it up and turn it and slam it down.
I want one of those so bad.
There's actually you could get a DVD collection of I think it was the first 8 movies, and it came in a box, a box, like a merchant's box. And I thought that was great, except the problem was you couldn't play the DVDs in America because they were coded differently, so you had to buy a special DVD player.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah. So that goes into our horror franchises. I would love another Friday the 13th movie to kind of continue on where the Padalecki did. I would just love another good Friday the 13th movie. Then
So another a full-length Supernatural episode?
pretty much, yeah.
That's what
they're
it
fucking
was.
fantastic.
I'm sorry, that's what it was.
Hell, if you remember watching Game of Thrones, there was some horror fucking episodes like the
Red Wedding.
Oh, no, not like that. I'm talking about a horror movie like the White Walkers attacks.
Yeah.
The Warden of the North. That was some scary shit because he just rises from the dead. Last man standing type shit. It's fucking wild. A lot of people hate that shit too.
Yeah.
What is another franchise you think you would love to see just them to come back with? Just to add one more to the pile.
I don't know. I think it would be neat to see like this generation's take on some of the like black and white OG horror movies. Like Black Cat.
Yep.
I dare say House on Haunted Hill because the 90s version was
Cat people.
we do not discuss the '90s version in this house.
I would love a remake of that horror movie, The Haunting. That had Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
They could do it, but they need to leave the house the way it was, because the house was the coolest part of the movie.
Oh yeah, with the fucking cherubs moving and shit.
Yeah, I loved the house.
As much as I love it, Needful Things needs a remake. So goddamn bad.
No, that needs to be a miniseries.
Ooh.
That needs to be a Netflix HBO miniseries. If you're gonna do it right.
How fun is the movie though?
Oh God, it is everything.
Just Max von Sydow.
Yes, Max von Sydow being everything you ever wanted him to be, and so much more. And Ed Harris
Hitting on fucking Bonnie Bedelia.
he did a little more than hit on her, if you recall.
Oh yeah, it was a 3-knuckle shuffle. Well, folks, thank you for listening. This is Chris with
Cristy.
Thank you guys. I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. Remember, put the razor blades in the candy, or the kids won't die.
Oh my God.